Welcome to the Profess Time Manager tutorial on how to create timesheets using the journal interface. If you want to learn to use the traditional timesheet view, you should watch the video on creating timesheets using timesheet entry mode. To enter Time Manager, put in your username and password and click on Login to access the main screen. You should now see the main interface with your journal in the centre. To create a timesheet, you need to enter events into the journal to record how you've spent your time. Double-click on a time slot in the journal to open the event screen. There are several things you can do in this screen, but all that's required to create an event is to select a project and activity. You can do this using the drop-down menus or by using your favourites at the bottom of the screen. We'll return to this screen later to see how to select projects and activities, create favourites, and use the other functions. But for now, let's just create an event using a favourite. I click on Select to the left of the favourite to select it, then I click on Save to create the event. You can now see the event in the journal. You may have noticed that the event has been set to an hour long. This is the default setting in Time Manager. So if you don't enter a start and finish time, the event will automatically start at the time you double-clicked on to enter it and last for 1 hour. You can change the default length of events, but this is covered in the tutorial on personalised settings. When you hover your mouse over the event, you can see a red cross appear in the top right-hand corner. Clicking on this will delete the event from your journal. You can change the start and finish time of the event without having to reopen the events screen. Click and hold your left mouse button inside the event box, and you can then drag it up and down in the journal to whatever time you want it to start. Here, I'll change the start time from 9 AM to 8:30. You can see that the length stays the same, so the event now ends at 9:30. If you want to alter the length of the event, click and hold your left mouse button on the bottom edge of the box. This will allow you to drag the end time up or down and change the length of the event. Here, I'll drag the end time down to 10:30, making the event 2 hours long. Now, let's enter another event and look at the event screen more closely. I double-click on a time slot to open the screen. You can see the start and finish time boxes at the top of the screen. These can be used to enter a start and finish time for the event without having to click and drag it to the time you want in the journal. You can also use these boxes to enter a non-standard time if you want to. For example, if your journal has 15-minute time slots, but you want to enter an event that starts at, say, 10:35 and ends at 11:25, you can enter these times here and Time Manager will recognise this. When you look at the event in the journal, it will appear to start at 10:30 and finish at 11:30, as these are the closest time slots to the times you've entered. But when you save your timesheet, the correct times will be brought through. If you enter several non-standard time events, they may appear to overlap on the journal due to this display method. If you want to enter non-standard time events quite often, you might want to set the time slots to a smaller increment so that they're displayed clearly. You can learn how to do this in the tutorial on personalised settings. Back in the event screen, the hours box at the top shows the time spent on the event you're entering. You can't alter this, as Time Manager will calculate it from the start and finish times you enter. You can tick the out of office box if you're going to be away from the office for this event, for example, a visit to a client or a training day, and you can tick the show in diary box to show the event in the staff diary and allow other members of your team to see it. The project drop-down is used to select a project. Click on the arrow on the right to view a list of all projects you can enter time against, or click in the white box and start typing a project name and reference to bring up a list of matching projects. Click on the project you want to select it. The activity drop-down works in the same way. The client drop-down will change automatically to show which client the selected project is for. The overtime drop-down can be used to select a type of overtime that applies to this event. The options will vary depending on what types of overtime have been set up by your supervisor, but this shows a typical list. The subject box should not be used if you've selected a project and activity. It will automatically change to the same value as the project and activity you select when you click on Save. The only time you need to use the subject box is when you want to enter time that's not being booked to a project and activity. For example, you might want to use it to enter something like a doctor's appointment. If you enter a subject, don't select a project and activity, simply type in your subject and click Save. This feature is best used for reminders and notes, not for recording time spent on work, as the time will be added to your journal, but it won't appear on your timesheets. Once you've selected a project and activity, if you think you're likely to use the combination often, you can save it as a favourite. Favourites are useful because they allow you to create events from frequently used projects and activities quickly. You can see all your currently saved favourites at the bottom of the screen. To use a favourite, just click on Select to the left of it in the list. If you want to delete a favourite because you no longer use it as much, you just need to click Remove to the right of it. The Save button will save all selections you've made so far, but leave the screen open for more changes. The Save and Close button will save everything and take you back to the main screen, and the Close button will take you back to the main screen but discard any changes you've made. Finally, the Notes tab at the bottom of the screen allows you to enter more details about an event. You can enter as much text as you like here, and it'll appear in the journal entry for the event, so it's useful for reminders. So now you know how to enter quite complex events. Back on the main screen, if I select the Favourites tab on the sidebar, you can see that the easiest way to enter an event is to drag it from this list. To do this, click and hold the left mouse button on the favourite you want to add, then drag it to the time you want to add it on the journal. You can then adjust the start time and length in the same way as other events. As you can see, I've now entered time for the whole day. If I continue to do this for the rest of the week, my screen will look something like this. You can see I've entered 7.5 hours of events for each day, with an hour for lunch. If you wanted, you could enter lunch using the subject box in the event page that we looked at before. The FlexiTime bar at the top of the screen shows the total amount of time for each day that counts towards my FlexiTime calculations. Because overtime is not used in FlexiTime calculations, Monday is shown as having just 5 hours entered, and the week total is shown as 35 hours. For more information on FlexiTime, you can watch the FlexiTime tutorial. So, I now have a full week of events entered. To create a timesheet for this week, I just need to click on the Submit Timesheet button. I can see the timesheet I just created by going into the Timesheets menu and clicking on View Timesheets. There, I can see a list of all my timesheets for this year, and I'll click on View next to the week I just entered to look at my timesheet, created by Time Manager from the totals of all my events. The year and week numbers, total hour, overtime hours, and staff name are shown at the top, and the timesheet below shows the time spent on each project and activity each day, along with the totals. This is the end of the tutorial on creating timesheets using the journal. For more help and information, you can watch our other tutorial videos or refer to the Time Manager help files.